Blog Talk Radio.
Shalom, Lekulam. Peace to everyone. Welcome to the Reset Button Season 3. This season, we welcome the listener to join us while we journey through Isaiah, one of the most controversial books in the Word. We would like to accomplish understanding of the salvation of Israel mentioned. Is it one spoken of in the New Testament? Is it someone we're waiting on? Or is it in the past? Walk through this with us as we attempt to uncover this mystery. The call-in number is 516-595-8238. And press 1 at any time that you have questions or that you would like to leave a comment. Our collective email is histaught1talkradio@gmail.com. Our Facebook page is His Taught Ones and His Taught Ones Talk Radio. We also have the YouTube page at His Taught Ones Talk Radio. Subscribe and we'll be posting our episodes every week. Shalom and have a good show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another season of His Taught Ones. Talmidim, yo, here we go, back at it again. You did, yourself, Shema and some friends. We learned hard through better sheets. The Melechim now, fresh start to what is hot. I never yin, here come the prophets. They're dropping some knowledge, abolishing doctrines, apology nonsense. They bring the word, you can call them the pinpoint. Given by the hand of the head, he is the pinpoint. Or could it be it's another? So many differences from the children, it's a misnomer. Honestly, the aroma is hideously unbearable. There is no one accord. How dare we say that we're hearing you? I don't wanna see
Israel, Holy One of Israel. Anachnu modim lecha al yom nosaf we al milah. We thank you for another day and for your word. Barech bivakasha et ha-mifkash hazeh. Please bless this gathering. Bo'u nishmiah. Let us say Amen. Amen.
Shalom. Welcome to another segment of His Taught Ones Talk Radio. This is a Reset Button, Season 3, Episode 12, Rest Show 4. And today, if everybody was, paying attention to the activity going on the Facebook page, I put up a poll, and I actually said that the two most voted for topics was going to be the topic of today's show. So for those that don't know, we put up a poll, or I myself put up a poll in the group, and I asked everybody to vote for which topics they wanted to talk about today. And let me go to those topics here so everybody know what those topics was. Well, basically, these topics were based on the notes that I was taking as we've been going through this season. And I've been, just jotting down some of the topics that came up that we couldn't really dive too deep into, and I kind of just annotated them to the side and saved them for a rest show. So this is our first rest show since I've been taking these notes. And the topics that we had so far is the afterlife, divination, salvation, idol worship, the gathering, flea doctrine, and truth. And so the votes was in, and the one with the most votes was the afterlife. And then tied for second and third was divination and salvation. I kind of made that possible because I placed my vote in last, and initially the top two was the afterlife and divination. But I went ahead and threw a curveball, and so I went with salvation. So we got a tie for second place. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the time for the salvation, and we're just going to order of top to bottom votes. So today we're going to be talking about the afterlife, divination, and salvation. That's all I got for right now. Just putting out all the information. The lines will be open early. You know, it's just going to be an open discussion. You know, I didn't go into a whole bunch of taking notes or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? This is just going to be an open dialogue. And if I need to go into the book and pull some things out, then I'll do it right on the spot. But this is more so a more laid-back type of setting, you know, throwing ideas out there and just discussing it, you know. So we ain't going to get too technical with it, but, you know, I'm sure some scripture's going to come out. So, but this is more so to, you know, bring forth ideals and not to make people have to put too much effort into it. You know, maybe later on the things that we talk about today, we'll get into a more extensive study on it. But today is just to stir the pot a little bit and see where people's minds is on these topics. That's my opening statements as well as introducing the show. And I will pass the floor to Brother Shema. And then once you're done, Brother Shema, go ahead and pass it to Brother Yosef and let him give his opening statements. Then we'll get straight to it.
Shalom. Shalom, everyone. Happy to be here on today. I'm glad that I have my brothers, my panel brothers on the line, bringing forth another Shabbat and another rest show. I look forward to discussing these two topics, hear everybody's thoughts, whether it's freebie, like a freestyling type answer, or whether it's some information that was actually looked up. I'm all ears, man. I'll give you my input as well. So that's all I really have. I pass the floor to Brother Orech, or Yosef Orech. I can't even say your name, man. I'm sorry. Yosef Orech.
Kodah. This is Yosef, and opening statements. I'm glad that we was able to touch the three top ones, because those are some deep each one of them, even the other ones that we couldn't get to, and I have a thought process behind it, method to the madness or whatever, but other than that, I look forward to these rest shows. I look forward. I'm actually happy that people took the polls. I'm actually happy that we're getting participation from our listeners. This is what we asked for, and I know it's not like. I know it wasn't 50 people, but I don't look forward to the 50. I kind of look forward to the people that I know, listen in, them participating like y'all, like it has been. So I can't ask for any more than this type of setting. and I can't ask for any more than this type of participation. People actually saying, voting on it. Well, I remember when we first started, nobody said anything, nobody voted, nobody had one, nobody had nothing. But, well, the first day, it was going crazy. Like, everybody wanted to be a part of this thing. And after we wasn't doing what everybody wanted to do, they kind of faded off. But that's why I say this is very, it's good, because I think this is actually one of the first times, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first times that, people have been as active as they have been. I'm not talking about our regular people. This all like Brother Mercy. You can't ever, count him out. He's always active, so it's not taken away from that. But it's more so, for a collective as a whole, more than just Brother Mercy chiming in. More than just the regulars, it's people actually being a part of this thing, and that's all we can ask for. And I just thank the Most High for that. I don't have too much already to kind of jump into it. I just want to show appreciation to those that participate, and even those that might not have participated, and you might not have seen the posts, stuff like that. I encourage that you do send a friend request for the Talk Once Talk radio page, because it might be something like that for the next Rest show. Who knows? I mean, y'all came out with this, and I think it was a great idea. And also any other topics that anybody that's listening, that listens online, don't throw an anonymous topic that you want to talk about, or, even if you want to talk about something that we talked about, we always encourage the Facebook page, Talk Once Talk Radio, to talk about these type of things and to actually voice what you want to say. And like the saying goes, there is no stupid questions. Even though it might be hard on people, so I would never discourage anybody from asking a question or saying anything. And who knows, it might be something that we already think, or I already think, or whatever. So, or one of us. So it's not nothing. We all just fellowshipping. But that's it. I know I got on my soapbox, I guess, a little bit, but it's just to encourage and thank the people that participate. Back to you.
All right, appreciate that, brother. Before we get started, I just wanted to kind of caveat on one of the things that he said, just to maybe get a little feedback, and then also just to conversate about it a little bit. So as the brother said, this was something I had told him I was going to do the poll or whatever. So, he said, he don't know if this is what we're going to do. So the thing is, the way this works is like, we rotate on hosts. So like every show that we have, we just rotate around as far as the person that's facilitating the actual show. So it just happened to be my turn, and it was a rest show. So I just came up with that. And each time it's a host or it goes around, it's whatever the person whose turn it is to come up with whatever. But if it's always something that we do, and if the person, or if all the panel and the listeners agree with it, we'll make it a regular thing. So I don't mind putting up the polls every time that a rest show comes around. And next time, if this is something that y'all want to adopt and keep, I can, just so it won't be, give you a week to think about it. This one was kind of like the spur of the moment type thing, but if we make it a normal thing, so the week of the rest show, I'll put it up on Monday, give y'all time to think. I'll bring those topics, and as we go through these topics, we'll eliminate them. And then as we write more topics or whatever, or if it's something we want to revisit, I'll add it back on. But the ideal is to, give us something as we keep going, and as we cover those topics, we just mark them off the list. Like I said, I've been taking notes during the season. And then like he said, if you want to add something, so the way the poll works is like, it's one vote per person, but it's open like to where you can add a topic. So as we go through, if it's like, if you have a topic and you don't want to vote based off what's there, you could add a topic and then just vote on that one. It could be anything. There's no restrictions, no limits, unless it's just some off-the-wall type stuff. But, we real flexible when it comes to topics. So, if it's just like extreme, and you should, we all would know what extreme is. We got a feel for each other and how we are. So, anyway, if y'all are down with that, just let me know. You can come on right now. If you're a caller, you press 1, but then also the panel, just give me some feedback on that, what y'all think we should do. And then after that, we get right into these topics. Same order.
Personally, I like it. You know what I'm saying? We can see how this works out. And I personally like the idea. It kind of gets to see where people really, where they at, what they want to say. It's better than just going off the whim and just picking a topic also. So I like giving the power to the listeners. And that's that's why I like it.
I agree with that. Amen.
Okay, so there we have it. That's the panel's ideal. You know what I'm saying? So we all in agreement with continuing this poll type of deal. So nobody press 1. So we're gonna go with that until we hear otherwise from the listeners. So that's what we're gonna do. But all right, we got one in the queue. I believe this is Sister Hokma. You live?
Shalom. I agree. I like having power. I like having control. So yeah, put in the power of the people. I like the poll.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
man, that's what it's all about, empowering each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to hog all the power. Our main thing.
Get out.
At least in my mind, we want to empower each other. We all want to, you know what I'm saying, be empowered. So this is what this is all about as far as the panel is concerned, and I know these brothers agree, so I'm going to speak for the panel as a whole. We want to empower the people. We want y'all to know what we know, as far as knowledge, wisdom, understanding of any topic. That's why we say, this is not limited to just Bible stuff, scripture or Hebrew history. This is not limited to that. We could talk about some of these current events or whatever it may be. So, appreciate the feedback, I hope. And I'm going to mute your mic. Come back whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll press 1. Okay, thank you.
All right. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into these topics. Like I said, the first topic here we have is the afterlife. And that had the most votes, so we're going to go with that first. And so I guess I'll just start it off, and we'll just keep that same order. And after that, you know what I'm saying, people just jump in as they will wish to. So just to start it off, I think this topic came up during one of the shows I was absent on, but I had snuck in for a minute just to listen. I wanted to jump into it, but by the time yourself stopped talking, I had to go. So I'm glad this actually was the top vote, so I can, chime in. I didn't get to chime in last time, but just shout out to Brother Mercy for even bringing this topic up it was actually during one of the rest shows. So the topic is the afterlife, and just to start it off, I would just say, I think far as, addressing it initially, what I would like to kind of put out there is just the fact of what we talked about of how the afterlife was viewed based upon the ancient Hebrews or the ancient Israelites, because it's a lot of doctrine out there about the afterlife, and I think it has become something that has grown or evolved into something that, far as I have seen, as we've been going through, was not looked at the way it is now. So I would love to hear, or discuss this in the realm of that, of what we've read so far versus what we hear now, and what maybe we have had before as, our belief versus where your mind is going now after we've been doing this show for so long and what we've encountered thus far. So that's kind of, how I'm looking at it. So Shema, you can give your comments on that based off what I said, and then yourself, you just follow after him. And then anybody that want to jump into the conversation, just hit one, and we'll let you
in. I believe that, as we've been going through contextually, we have seen the many doctrines concerning many different topics that was actually opposing what the consistency of the scriptures has revealed to us. So, I think that it's healthy to have different discussions pertaining to these topics. It's healthy, of course. But when we form doctrines, man, it can be unhealthy as well. And I think for the most part, in all these different doctrines and people that's dealing with it, it has become really unhealthy. So I think that, like we have brought out, that it should stay along the lines of how they believed it to be from a consistent standpoint in comparison, or in a parallel type thing with the Father's direction, with the Father's instruction of it, and what He revealed to the people who we look up to or look at in the Tanakh. So I believe that we're on the right track. I believe that we should stay along the lines of Tanakh more than anything, because, we're not in a Brit Kadashah, the New Testament yet, but we do understand that it is said that they went off of the Tanakh or off the scriptures. So I think we should go off the foundation. So I don't know if I went way left of what you was asking, but that's my take.
Nah, there is no left or right. You know what I'm saying? We just going, like I said, it's more so an open dialogue, and, you know what I'm saying, whatever thoughts are brought to the table concerning the topic, you know what I'm saying, we want to take those in with open arms and kind of analyze it and address it. So I don't believe you went off at all. I think you actually right on point with it, and I take that mental note of what you said, and I agree wholeheartedly about, you know what I'm saying, going off the base of the Tanakh, because that is what the Brit Kadashah is supposed to be doing itself, you know what I'm saying, and thus far, I don't want to talk too much because I want to make sure everybody get an opportunity to talk, but thus far, we know what we've encountered going through contextually. So yeah, that's great.
With me, I wanted to say that I don't think that Shema went left at all. I agree with what he's saying as far as the foundation. We have to look at this foundation, and then we have to line those things up with what we see in the new. When I say that I've hit my reset button on a lot of stuff, I can really only go about what I'm at now because, to be honest with you, when I was looking into those things beforehand, I thought I had a somewhat of a grasp. I still was questioning a couple things that I just couldn't wrap my head around when this might happen and when this might happen, but I've kind of let go of all that, when it's going to happen and it's going to happen, and all that. But one thing I could just say is what has not been mentioned thus far is a heaven. And somewhere we go with some pearly gates and stuff like that, stuff that was taught, growing up. I haven't seen that yet. I also haven't seen the lake of fire, the hell and the punishment, the burning and all that extra stuff. So I can't, at this point, I don't want to drift off, and I'm not telling anybody else not to bring in things that you heard, because this is open discussion. I'm just going off of, me personally. At this point, when I think about the afterlife or when I think about all that, I don't really think about it. Like, I can't give a accurate diagnosis about anything at this point as far as telling you this is what is going to happen for sure until I get to that point in the book. But I can tell you what I think as far as what I got thus far. I think how the Most High has been talking to people as far as with their children and reassuring them that their children will do good and their lineage will be okay and either they was going to take the throne or whatever the case may be. Like, we'll use David as the example. He constantly reminded him. We could use Abraham. He told him that his seed would be, as numerous as the sea. And, he's told some of these forefathers that the generations after them was going to be this or established good kings, sometimes even bad things, according to how they acted. But I think that was the joy of the ancestors. I think that's why the Most High would let them know that their children would be all right, because I think that was a big thing for them. It's a big thing for us also to make sure that our children are okay. And if the Most High was to let you know personally that your children are going to be okay, they're going to be set up, and they'll be royalty or whatever, you would rest at ease. Also, everything that was said beforehand, as far as when they talk about dying, they just say, well, you go rest with your fathers. One thing that I found to be interesting, and I used to have an opinion about this, but not anymore like that, is that I don't know, Samuel was supposedly or possibly summoned, and he said, well, why are you waking me from my sleep? You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, why did you snatch me out of heaven? And he showed the heaven and say, why you snatched me out of hell, or thank you for snatching me out of hell, or whatever. It wasn't that. He was like, man, why you bothering me while I was asleep? And that's if we're going to go with that it was actually Samuel. And I guess that kind of rolls into the second. I now that I'm saying it kind of rolls into the divination thing, too, so I guess we'll kind of touch that, too, so I'll leave that alone. But the sleeping with your fathers or resting, that's what is equated to sleep. And like I said in the last show, that might be some of the best thing ever, just to sleep, to have rest, for your spirit to be at rest and not be so worried about what's going on in life and all this extra stuff that we consume ourselves with already. Might not be a bad thing, just to rest. And my last thing is, with me not knowing, I still do this thing, and I'm still in this thing headstrong, where even if it's not a reward, even if I just go to sleep, I do feel like you can have heaven on earth, and I do feel like you can go through hell on earth in the same aspect. So I feel like this life, when you are alive, is for the living right now, and it's a possibility that when you die, that's it. What you've made, the mark that you've made on society and your children and your family is what lives on. Maybe something that you used to say, or like I say, I give you a perfect example, then I'm gonna yield the floor. What's that got to do with the price of tea in China? I say it all the time. I got that from my grandfather that passed away. He used to say it all the time. That saying, wherever he got it from, even if he created it, whatever, will always live on with me and possibly through my children and this, that, and the other. So, and they might know where it came from. Well, your great-great-great-grandfather used to say, what's that got to do with the price of tea in China? And it goes along with my stepfather that passed. It's a lot of things that I've taken from him that I say, yeah, he taught me this. And then when I teach somebody else, I can tell them, hey, no, this person taught me. And that chain will continue to go on, especially if someone continues to inform the people where it came from. And I think that's I don't know, that's just what I'm seeing. To remember something, to continue to have this chain go on is very important, especially it seems like it was important to the Most High. That's why he said, oh, you do this, remember when you do this, it's because of this. Remember this. I remember what I did for you. I think that remembrance and continue on to pass that chain is very important. And that's all. I know I said a mouthful.
All right.
I want to say something, man, real quick, if you allow me to. You all spoke on this before. I don't know if you was planning on bringing it out or anybody was planning on bringing it out, but the everlasting life topic, man. Or I think this goes with this. But you all were saying like yourself had just brought out just now. He just said like living on, the mark you make lives on. The good you do lives on. Keeping on the ways and the culture that was given to the people who we are studying about or learning about, reading about. It lived on through things that they established, the things that they put in place. So in essence, the teaching has been everlasting. So from that aspect of it, a different perspective of everlasting life, we are actually a part of this everlasting life that has been established thousands of years ago. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not saying one is right, one is wrong, but this is definitely a physical sense, I would say. Spiritual too, but if you want to just speak on physical and spiritual, this is definitely a physical sense of everlasting life. These teachings and these writings and this culture, this way of living, this understanding, whether it is a couple different doctrinal teachings of it, but still it's living on, so it's everlasting. That's all I wanted to add to that.
All right. Yeah, that was some good additional information. Great thought as far as that. What Brother Yourself brought to the table. We got, I believe, Brother Mercy in the queue, so I'm gonna open his mic. Brother Mercy, you're live. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy Sabbath. I was wanted to say, this afterlife thing is a pretty deep concept. I mean, even Paul wrote, the Pharisee, he wrote that I may know the power of his resurrection. A lot of people, they struggle with this concept because they don't understand it's hard to understand the everlasting and the everlasting life and the afterlife concept. Well, I'll just start out from the beginning. In Genesis, he says, be fruitful and multiply. That was one of the first commandments he gave, was to be fruitful and multiply. So what I see the afterlife being, in a sense, that, Adam had, he told him, he said, the day you eat the fruit, you will surely die. So what happens after Adam dies? what life is there after Adam dies? Of course, he has a son. You know, he has two sons, Cain and Abel. So to me, after Adam's life, after his life, we have Cain and Abel. So we have Seth. So I think this concept, and remember Abraham ran into this problem when he couldn't have any children with Sarah. He ran into serious problems. So if Abraham did not have a child through Sarah or didn't have a child through his bondservant, there would have been no afterlife after Abraham's life. Abraham, it would have been the end. After God made a promise to Abraham, Abraham would have had to fulfill the promise in its entirety. You know, and I think sometimes we forget that. Any promise that Yahweh has made to us, he has to fulfill it in our lives if we don't have any children. You know, so I say that to say having children kind of gives us, I guess, in some way, more time to fulfill the promise, you know, that was given. If not, then it has to be filled in your day. In Samuel's day, you see, not one word, the Bible says not one word fell to the ground. So every word he said came to pass. So, you know, and it came to pass in his day. See, that's beautiful. It came to pass in his day. He didn't have to wait for something to come to pass. I don't want to say that afterlife to me didn't mean after your life. And is the promise going to be fulfilled after your life, or will it be fulfilled during your life, like in Samuel's case? It was fulfilled in his lifetime. You know, so I just wanted to say afterlife could mean to me, you know, having children, so you continue to feed on them. That's all I had to say.
I want to, man, look, hold on now. Brother Mercy, you just hit some jewels right there, man. Like, real quick. That is, I believe that way of thinking is the way that we thought back then. I really believe that. I think that, like, even when you think of resurrection, right, this language, Hebrew language, resurrected at a certain point. It's the only language out of all languages that has died, quote unquote, and has been resurrected. You know, that was through my studies. I believe that you did. Y'all studied on that too yourself. You know. But it's the only language out of every language you could think of right now, according to what I know, I could be wrong, that has been resurrected, you know. And then when you think of afterlife, that was perfect. I love how you put that out there. I think this is the type of mind frame that they have when speaking of certain things like this. And that's all I wanted to add to that.
All right, yourself, you can go ahead, and then I will follow you. That way I can keep the ball rolling on this thing. If you had anything to add to what Brother Mercy had put out there.
No, I didn't have anything to add. I agree. You know, it's just something that I've seen, just as far as like what he said. Kind of caveats on how I kind of think. So I don't have any. I just don't have anything to add.
All right, King. What was the word you threw to me? Career. Is that how you say it? Career. Cool.
Yeah. But career. Yeah.
Cool.
Got that quarter with the ear at the end. Yeah. Oh, fresh, yod fresh. Cool.
Yeah.
Career.
All right, so.
Yo, Fee.
We got the sound in the background.
Oh no, I'm on mute. That might be.
All right, it's gone now. Okay, so I would just like to say that I also agree with the words that Mercy brought forth to the table, the mindset, the way that Mercy is going about understanding this afterlife thing, and I would also like to agree with Shemaiah's input to Brother Mercy's statements that this is also how the ancients thought. So I don't have anything to add to that, but what I would like to do is kind of curve a little bit into, well, kind of evolve the conversation and kind of get a little feedback from hopefully everybody that's on the line. But so I know this afterlife thing came up. It got the most votes out of all the topics. And so, you know, we've heard a little bit of the way people's minds are thinking about it. But what I would like to kind of do is throw a little curveball and kind of get a little bit of understanding on the importance of this topic, especially seeing that it was the most voted topic in the poll. So, you know, just very briefly, and I guess I'll go first, but very briefly from each individual that would like to speak, no pressure, but why is the topic of the afterlife important? And then maybe if you want to throw in, like, how important does it seem amongst the masses? And that's going to be big right there, I think. That's going to take us into some real deep stuff right there. So just to start it off, for me, I think the afterlife topic is important because even with the masses, well, I'll get to the masses afterward. But I think it's important for me because, like, a lot of our decisions are curved or shaped based off this topic alone. A lot of the decisions that we make while we're here on earth are curved or, you know what I'm saying, like, based off of this. So that will lead me into the second part of it, trying to be brief, of the masses. And I think with the masses, like, this is like one of the biggest topics, I think, amongst the masses because everything seems like it revolves around the afterlife. And to add, I think that can be problematic based off of, problematic for civilization alone. So I'm going to leave it with that. I'm going to leave that in the pot, and I think the pot is bubbling right now with just that ideal and that statement and that thought. But, again, you know, would love to hear the feedback from the other people. So kind of address what I said and then go into your thing. So this time we're going to start with yourself, and then we're going to run to Shemaiah, and we got Brother Mercy in the queue. And anybody else that want to chime in, just press 1, and we will open the floor to you.
Okay, if I forget something, let me know. But as far as the importance of afterlife to the masses, I know, and not that I believe, I know the afterlife is discussed in every belief system, every religion, every sort of walk, and everybody has some sort of reward at the end of a lot of their life, you know, whether or not it's virgins or whatever the case may be. It's no different with Christianity or, you know, Israelites or Hebrews or whoever, you know, whatever you choose to believe, it is always something of a reward because for some people, for a lot of people, this is why they're doing it. The punishment, not to be punished or to be rewarded for something in the end. A lot of times people want the crown and if you save so many souls, you get a bezel, and each soul is a bezel in your crown. And, you know, people do that for that. They go out to evangelize so their crown, when they get to heaven, could be blinking. And another thing, some people just don't do stuff because they don't want to go to hell. Okay? it's a fear factor thing that goes along with it. This is kind of rolling into another one of the points, but it's I think it has to do with fear. I believe that, I mean, if you want me to just be real honest, I believe that's why a lot of this stuff was created. That's why a lot of stuff is said in some of the religions that you might not have ever heard. That might not even be in the Bible at all. Some of the reward systems, maybe even some of the punishment systems, you know. And also, I know that some of them come from different cultures that has been assimilated and passed down. Those are facts. But it just depends on what area of belief that you're talking about. I'm not saying everything. But, hold on. My bad. So I got the importance to the masses, and kind of throwing a little extra. It was something else you said. I think I even talked about, well, and let me say how it affects me personally. I don't know if this is one of your things, because I might forget stuff. But how it affects me personally is, honestly, you know, after I live, the most important thing to me is, at this point, is leaving a mark. You know, some form of mark. To me, I kind of just want to accomplish what the Most High put me here for. What did He put me here for in the first place? You know, that's everybody has that purpose in life. You know what I mean? But I'm not really searching for the afterlife. I'm searching for this life, more so. And you know, I just pray. I say that I accomplish the mission, whatever it is. I don't think I'm just willy-nilly put here, you know. So as far as afterlife, as far as, you know, passing something on, and that's what I look forward to. If it is some of the greatest things that they say, then I mean, that's cool too. My thing is, something in me feels like it's left out on, like he didn't tell people on purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. You know, he kind of left some things some secret, just, you know, on purpose. You know why? I mean, it's gonna be some fear and maybe for some people joy at the time when they pass away, and because then nobody knows what's on the other side. Totally. Right. All right, that's it.
All right. So some of the things you said we're gonna come back to once we go around full circle. Shema, like this is, like I said, just, you know, just add to the conversation, and it don't really matter if you miss anything that was said or whatever. Just as long as you add to the conversation, or you could just address whatever it is. But I hope you remember what was kind of the ideal of it. So Shema, the floor is yours, and then we got Mercy in the queue first, and then we got Hawkma in the queue. So I'm gonna let them in after you get done.
I really don't have too much to add, to be honest. He actually hit a whole bunch of things concerning the question that, you know, a lot of it I was going to bring out. You know, he basically hit it, man. Like, I think it's a control tactic. I think it's a fear tactic. I mean, like the afterlife, like you said, it's everywhere. It's all over, you know. But that concept, I believe, is kind of the put control out there, you know. Like, okay, if we could get enough people to believe that in order for them to have a good afterlife, then they have to be this way, then, you know, at least most of or half of the world, or half or whatever these different people will be able, we don't really have to be concerned about them doing anything that is out of our control, in a sense. This is just my thoughts. And if they didn't speak on this, maybe it would be a little bit of chaos. I don't know. But based off of what we're speaking on now, what's coming together through our studies, we do see it's viewed differently. And I think that those in this culture that we're a part of right now thought differently than the rest of the world right now. Because, like you said, it's in every religion. Almost, it seems like. Or every major religion especially. So that's all I got.
So that, I think Sister Hoffman's call dropped, so when she come back, hopefully we can get her back in. I'll open up her mic, but right now we got Brother Mercy. So, Brother Mercy, you're live. Talk to us.
I kind of want to stir the pot a little bit because I think the pot needs to be stirred. And the thing is, with this heaven and hell thing, although I believe in those two things, those things can serve as a distraction and make you think you got more time than what you got. Like, for example, say hypothetically the Most High gave Mercy a dream that he's supposed to open up a school. And then this is a hypothetical situation, purely hypothetical. And then somebody come to Brother Mercy and say, "Oh, Brother Mercy, you can get your school in heaven. You ain't got to have it down here." That's what's been told to us for hundreds of years. While we was enslaved, our ancestors believed because they were tricked into thinking. So I can't get it down here, I'll get it in heaven. So that's why we were told that, because we couldn't get these things down here. So we were told you'll get it on the other side. So the thing is, okay, but then we had the civil rights movement, we had slavery, the Civil War. I'm just trying to give some context to this to help you understand. I'm not trying to wait till I get to heaven to open up my school. And so I want to open it up on this side of the equation, not the other side. So I just wanted to say that to say it can be used as a distraction because it'll make you think you got more time than what you got. And then another thing is, since I don't have any children, and let's say the Most High gave Brother Mercy a dream, say go over to school, and I say, "Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe it." Then the Most High would say, "Okay, Brother Mercy, since you don't believe it, I'm going to give the school to your son." That's what he would do in biblical times. Since the person he made the promise to wouldn't believe it and wouldn't walk upright, he would give it to their children. But since I don't have any children, he can't do that with me. It has to start with me, and right now it has to end with me. Unless I have a son, then he could say, "Well, since it's taking you so long, Brother Mercy, I'll give it to your son." So I just say that to say you got to think about it in context of the promises made to us and the land, because Moses was definitely not trying to lead the children of Israel to heaven. He was trying to lead them to a land flowing with milk and honey on the earth. So I just wanted to say that. And a lot of Christians don't like Moses, and if you notice, a lot of Christians don't like Moses. If you notice that, when you talking about the law of Moses, you being legalistic, you know.
Hey,
you know that.
Mercy. Hey, Mercy.
Moses talking about.
Hey, hold on. Has he ready on fire? I'm about to say, who is this man? Who is this dude? This ain't Brother Mercy. You got a twin brother.
Hey, Mercy on
fire.
Y'all know that Brother Mercy, when he come hard, bro, it's ridiculous. So this man, I'm just sitting back listening like,
man, look, this ain't the first time.
And the crazy part, it got to be the Most High, because that's he stirred the pot just how I wanted it stirred, and I'm finna sprinkle some seasonings on that thing. So we're finna eat real good. But if you had anything else, just make it real brief, Brother Mercy. Pokemond's back. I'm gonna let her in, and then we're gonna put the seasons in this pot. You done stirred it real nice. Gonna chop some carrots up and put it in there.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, and I'm done. I just wanted to say that Moses was very tangible. He wanted to lead God's people to a real land that exists on this side. So that's all I wanted to say, and I'm out.
All right. Appreciate that, because we definitely going to ride off of that. Sister Hokma, you're live. I know your call drop. You was in the queue. Not sure if you want to speak now, but if you do, talk to us.
I'll speak. I'm not sure if any of the brothers already spoke about it, but besides it being a fear tactic or scare tactic, it's more of, I'll just tell you what it is for myself and probably for other few people. Death is so final. Once you're gone, you're gone. And I don't know who running around here that wants to die, but I don't. And so just to have that thought or that hope that when I do pass this life, I'm going to enjoy another life. I don't see anything wrong with holding on to that, but not doing it as a reward, if that makes sense, to make death easier on whoever who needs to be, because I'm just going to tell you myself, I'm asking the Father, Lord, let me be old as everyone in the Scriptures. Let me be old as Methuselah. I don't want to die. It's not a joy, a thought. I just don't want to. So I think maybe that's...
Methuselah!
All right.
She went way back.
Hold up, though. Hold up, though. I wasn't going to say nothing because I didn't want to interrupt you, but since I already did it, you know what I'm saying?
That's what you do.
Let me say what I want to say now. Hey, I'm so stupid. I just want to let y'all know I'm so stupid. I think I'm intelligent, but I'm so stupid. I used to hear that saying all the time, and I never put it with the actual biblical person, Methuselah.
Yeah, until you read about it, and you was like, that's who they was talking about. Because I guarantee you, when my parents used to say it, I didn't know what it meant until I seen it in the Scriptures, and I was like, it's a real person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never knew that, so I agree with you. Jedediah, I was like, oh, okay. But so I don't.
Yeah,
it might
she
be.
said I ain't heard Methuselah, and for so long,
man,
nobody used Methuselah, and that's the cool thing about it is she calculated this on who she would like to live as long as.
Yeah,
she knows me person. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's why it's funny.
That's my thing about regarding as far as the afterlife. And as the more as I read and learn and lean more on my Yah conscience, I'm just saying it might not be one, y'all. So this is it. And a lot of people... Go ahead and promote
that Yah conscience, girl.
A lot of people live this life with not a care in the world, and some people have this, I want to do whatever God put me here to do. Hey, and then some. I'm just going to add that. And then some. I want to be able to enjoy this life because it might not be another one. Okay. So, I mean, seriously, I'm just going to express this to people because I'm in my feelings today. And, I got diagnosed with glaucoma, so I might not have my vision. So I'm trying to see some things. Let me go and see and taste and feel and hold and smell. I'm smelling this off the chain, so I'll probably be able to smell forever. Or the Rex say I smell demons. So I just be like, look. So I just want to encourage people to, just live this life. Live it and live it abundantly and keep your eye and keep living for the Father. And I believe if we keep living and obeying these laws and commandments and loving people like we should be, we'll get to enjoy this life. And that will be our kingdom on earth. But I'm out. Love y'all. I'll be back because this is a topic I love. The other one I can't wait to get to. I didn't pick, I'm telling y'all my tactic. I didn't pick the other one because everybody had the afterlife. I was like, wait a minute. We got to make this even here so we can get another topic in. So that's why I picked the divination. So hopefully we'll get to that topic too. And that's it. Love you guys.
All right. So I'm going to let these brothers speak on the things that was said. And then we're gonna move. We're gonna move on because. What's up? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
No, I'm saying then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna let these brothers speak. I'm gonna go last. That way I can transition into the next topic. But I definitely have some things to say regarding all the things.
I guess I got to do the sprinkling.
So it will. No, I'm gonna sprinkle. I mean, you can start. I'm chopping carrots while you're doing that. So
yeah, you gonna sprinkle, but you're gonna have to end up finishing up the meal real quick when you do that.
Yeah. So we'll start with Shema, and then we'll go Yosef, and then I come with the carrots. All right, Shema, talk to us.
I really don't got too much because it just seems like everybody is just coming with that heat. So I'm just coming with a little bit of I don't even know what to add to that. I was trying to come with a metaphor of some type of witty combat, but that's not gonna happen. No, man. One of the things I want to comment on is what Sister Hakma has said, man. With the living that long. The crazy thing is we are able to live longer than what the average people are living today, and what it boils down to, one of the things I want to say is our eating. We got to figure out a way to try to get back to their ways. If we would like to do that, that's one thing. Another thing is our stress level, the amount of stress that we have. That kills us, so we got to figure out a way to get more spiritual and back to a more peaceful mindset. I think those two are very, very, very important, and I think that's one of the things that has been killing, especially our people, for a while now. The health issue, the eating, and also our mental state. And that's what I wanted to add to what she had said. And I know we spoke on the eating thing for so long now, for these last 2 years or whatever. But if we can, individually, or collectively, figure out a way to all learn together. If we all don't even know how to eat the ancient way, you know what I'm saying? If we can find out, because I guarantee you they lived longer. I guarantee you they were stronger, and I guarantee you they were smarter. I know people don't want to agree to that smarter part, but I stand firm on that. I guarantee you they were smarter than we are today. And I don't, I'm not trying to sound bogus when I say this, but I don't believe anybody can tell me different, man. I'm just like, these cats back then, I just think they were. They was more in tune, like you would say, you did, y'all, with nature. They were more in tune with, from a spiritual aspect. I know it's people today that are as well. Don't get me wrong. But, to really get to what she's speaking of, I think those things have to be tackled. I think that, like I used to say too, it's too loud today. It's too loud. We live in a loud time. It's loud out there, and we need to figure out a way to bring more peace and silence in our lives so that we won't be so consumed with so many poisonous elements that's killing our body and killing our mind. And that's what I wanted to add. That's it.
Okay, I'm going to caveat off of that. I agree with him. The way we eat, it's a big thing. The Methuselah thing, we're going to have to get a lot deeper than, like you say, the way we eat and live and all kind of stuff probably has to change. And I do agree, they were smart and they had a very good connection with the spiritual realm. All better than what we have. We strive to be like them daily. I do believe it's because all the stuff, and a lot of times people are like, well, they didn't invent this and invent that. Well, maybe it was smarter not to invent all this because, look, now we're so far away from the Most High, and they probably knew that. So us having these luxuries and stuff, cars.
Dude, that was profound. I just wanted to say that. I had to hurry up and press unmute. That was profound, bro. I love that. Go ahead. Wow.
Us having these cars and roads and stuff like that, we've tore up the land. We've killed things that our ancestors was more in tune with as far as the nature, and they wouldn't have done it. They killed nature, but it was only they used stuff only to their resource, not to abundance. You needed a place to stay. Yes, something had to maybe die for you to eat, certain things like that, but it was to what they needed to eat that day. So that's a big thing in the Israelite culture too. Like, don't be excessive, okay, for no reason. So, okay, that's with that. And I do agree we have to start eating something that we're gonna have to figure out. And if we learn in Hebrew, we can learn some other stuff too. So, and I'm thinking more so, man. I'm on this brain thing, man. I think it's something too, man. How we think, like you said, the stress levels and stuff like that. That's too. But like, I think we're not using this brain to the capacity that it should be used. And I feel like we can do more. We've just been dumbed down for so long that we have not been exercising this muscle that's in our head. And as we start to exercise it, this stuff starts to come easier to us. So we have to get back into exercising this muscle and exercising it real good, okay? Because they've done a number on us. Now to jump to the Brother Mercy's thing, and I hope I've sufficiently talked about that, but to jump to Brother Mercy's thing, well, what he said, I totally agree. A lot of stuff that I see in a lot of places, it's all was to get us to look and say to ourselves, you know what, I'll be dormant right now because the best is yet to come. We stop looking and stop working towards a life for ourselves today, and we are some of the most unproductive people because of it, because we still waiting to die. This is really for a lot of people. They are waiting to die or waiting for, something to miraculously happen. I've seen posts where people be like, I can't wait till such and such, or I was told I was going to hell today. So, that just gives you an example. Like, people just like really, always thinking about the afterlife, but nobody's thinking about now. And nobody's trying to acquire something now. And like Brother Mercy said, a land with milk and honey. This whole thing is about land. This whole thing is about being able to be sit up and enjoy the life that you live. I'm sorry. It might be some other things in there, but I'm saying we can't just be waiting on nobody, nothing, to start building with each other and getting this thing right. We have to take advantage of this generation now, okay? I don't think that something's going to magically happen and everybody's just going to know things. And just I'm going to say this, that even if Jesus would come back in this time, what are you going to get, a Facebook page? And people going to argue with him. We argue about every freaking thing. We don't have no unity about nothing. So he wouldn't be able to get an edge words in and wise anyway. It starts with us, and that's what the scripture has been showing us, that when the people get together as a people, he comes see about his people. And that's what he cared about from here, from what I started, First, Second King, and we in Isaiah. He cared about doing what he said do, and he got you. That's all I've been seeing. That's constant. That's consecutive. That's context. I haven't seen it no other way. Hasn't been about anything else, and he always wanted us to be good and plentiful. Like from the time, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to use the flow, from the time he made man, he done put him in the garden. Gave him the best of the garden. Gave him just don't touch this. It's always in the rule. From the time he created man, gave him dominion over the earth, the animals and everything alike. Then he picks a group of people after all that, say, I'm trying to give you good land, and guess how they described it. Grapes this big, grapevines this big, and it was flowing with milk and honey. You just got some rules. Don't touch this. So, or don't do this. Such and such. So, this is how the Most High ain't say to Adam, Eve, none of them, after you die, you're going to have it better than you got it right now. I'm trying to give it to you right now. And if he has to possibly say, we don't get it together, nation, I just hope that he send me off somewhere. I go. Where I got to live this long? In a cave? All right, you say you got me, though. We good. You come out like, this is the oldest man out here. We still got the same J's on. I don't even know what that dude is. Yes, I will. But Would I like to see us live this? Would I like to see us live it today as a nation? Yes. If it doesn't happen, hey, look, I got some personal things I've been asking the Most High. Well, can I just go? You know what I mean? They tripping. So, I'm gonna yield the flow. I done put a little seasoning on it.
Ooh, yeah. So Brother Mercy brought the spice. Brother Mercy was stirred the pot, I guess. That's what he said he did. But I think it was already stirred. He just put some spices up in there. And Shabbat, what he did, since he wanted an analogy he could come up with, what Shabbat did, he checked the pot. And he said, yeah, it's coming out real good. And then you came, was like, let me add a little bit of herbs to this. Gave it that nice aroma. So I'm over here chopping up my carrots. I'm going to go ahead and throw some vegetables up in there so we can eat healthy, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, first thing I want to do is comment on this J's. That man say he going to come out the cave with some J's. They're going to be like, this is the oldest man I ever knew. We don't even know what he is. First thing I'm going to let you know, if you come out the cave with some J's on, they going to probably know them J's because they going to probably be about to come out again. And they finna stand out the side of the store in the cold to get them, and you already got them. They like, how you get them J's? They ain't even came out yet.
Retro anyway. 5,000.
Right. Anyway, back to a serious note. Okay. First thing I want to address. Y'all did a great job. Y'all hit some stuff. So I just want to caveat on a few things. But first thing I just want to go to is probably one of the boldest and profound statements that was said today so far is they hate Moses. He said most Christians hate Moses. And I think the reason why I said it's most profound and probably one of the most boldest statements is because a lot of people don't want to hear that. But it's the truth. It's so true. People hate Moses' guts. Christians. Most Christians hate Moses' guts. They don't want to hear nothing about no law of Moses.
Man.
Moses ain't bring nothing to the table but some law that is wicked according to most Christian doctrine. So, I just want to say that. That's why it's bold, because it's so true, and don't nobody want to hear that. Secondly, I said it's most profound because I think everything ties into that almost, all right? Because when we talk about the law, we talked about eating, being healthy and stuff. That's what Moses brought to the table. Moses brought order to a group of people that actually thought about life as they knew it. I don't think they was too much focused on the afterlife. They was focused about keeping civilization going. That's what I think. That's what I saw. So to just even say that, that's what Moses did. He kept civilization going. He helped Israel evolve from just a group of slaves to an actual nation. That's big. And I don't think, a lot of people hate like, oh, y'all still under Moses. Look, Moshe paved the way for anybody else that came after him. I don't care if it's your dear Jesus. Moshe paved the way. If that's what you into, the whole Jesus and the stuff like that, Moshe paved the way for that. So, without Moshe, there is no Jesus or Yeshua. I just want to let that be known. So I'm going to make a bold statement myself. And then what that also ties us to is the mindset, because what we all have seemed like to agree upon is that the old way, the old ancient people, the way they thought, they focused on this life, but also leaving the people something to carry on and help evolve. Like, that's what they was about, evolving and making things better and stuff like that. The ancient Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, passing it down through generation to generation. That's what they was about. It was all about teach your children this, this and that. You know what I'm saying? And I think with the twist, either of the quote-unquote new way of thinking or the misunderstood new way of thinking, however you want to take that, I think that threw a wrench in the game, and that brings me back to the point that I said before. You know what I'm saying? I think it had messed people up. And so what I'm going to do is give a few examples. Even we're going to take it to a movie standpoint. All right? Roots, Kunta Kinte. He felt like, man, they done took me from my land. They done bound me and all this. I got to get free. Right? I want to be free. And so the thing was, when you look at that type of mindset, you know what I'm saying, to be free and to, you know, be economically sound and do things in a certain way that he did back in his land. You know what I'm saying? Because when you watch the movie, they did things a whole lot different than the situation that he was put into. You know what I'm saying? So now we bring that type of mindset, and the thing was with Kunta, like, they ain't like Kunta because Kunta had hope, but Kunta hope wasn't in dying. Kunta hope was into getting away and being free on this earth. So while I talk now, I'm going to transition to another movie, Birth of a Nation. Going back to the point that Mercy made, they hate Moses. One of the things that I think was the biggest part of Birth of a Nation is the fact when he flipped the game and went from teaching the New Testament, which the slave owner wanted him to teach, to him cracking open that Tanakh and start busting them over the head with what the Tanakh was saying versus what the New Testament was saying, because they coached him into teaching out of the New Testament, which was more of a lay-down type of deal. But it was also like, you know, you're going to suffer now, but when you die, then you know, everything will be good. So if you could just endure this suffering here on earth, you good. Ain't no need to try to fight out of this. But then when he read that Tanakh, it's like he got a fire lit up in him. Like, man, we ain't supposed to be slaves. And we can get free. Because this guy that I'm reading about in the Tanakh wasn't about us being slaves. He was about freedom and about being prosperous and about getting to that land of that milk and that honey. And that sounds like our situation right now. So this is what I'm striving for now. So that is my observation of the whole thing, and that is my caveat to Mercy's statement about they hate Moses. Because Moses' mindset was let my people go. The New Testament mindset is we good. We just got to make it into the kingdom. But that kingdom is after we die. And I think that is what changed the game, and that's why people think like they think. And that also goes into the eating, because the New Testament, you know, I don't think it teaches this, but whether it's a misunderstanding or that's what they actually meant, that's what we're going to find out when we get to it. But as of right now, just going off of what the people think, they think you can eat anything, you can do anything, you can even play games with life. They be having snake services, letting snakes bite them, and all this. Like, life is not valued based off of the understanding of the New Testament. Now, I'm not saying that's what the New Testament teaches, but they tread on serpents, drink poisonous stuff. Like, people be playing games with their life based off of what they understand the New Testament to be saying. It wasn't none of them type of games in the Tanakh. It wasn't no treading on serpents. It wasn't no drinking you could drink this and not die and all this stuff like that. So, I'm going to leave it at that. I see Brother Mercy in the queue. I'm going to let him speak. Then we're going to transition to our next topic. But I just wanted to say that. I know it was a little long, but I felt like the Spirit was moving me to say it, and I think it done touched somebody today. Brother Mercy, you alive.
You know, I wanted to say something about that, what the New Testament is teaching. And what a lot of people don't understand is that this was after they had crucified Yeshua and all his followers. See, a lot of people don't understand when the people turned against Yeshua and his disciples and his apostles, had them turn them over to the Roman government and had them, when they yelled, crucify him, what did he say? The blood will be on you and your children. See, you can't kill Yahweh's prophets and get away with it. You can't do it. So you must endure if you kill his prophets, because now you have no voice to speak to you. So I say that to say, if we kill our leaders who's trying to lead us out, if they were successful in killing Moses, which they weren't, but they wanted to because they wanted to stone him. Let's not forget that. Oh, they wanted to kill Moses. They wanted to stone him. They wanted, but they were not successful. So I say that to say they were successful in crucifying Yeshua. See, if you're successful in crucifying the prophets, then yes, you must endure. Yes, you must obey your slave masters. Yes, you must submit if you crucify your prophets. But you know what? I plan to escape the persecution, and I plan to be free. So I say that to say that doctrine and that teaching is given, and it took me a long time to come up with this answer, just to let you know. It took me, I said, what's different about the New Testament and Old Testament? The difference is they killed the prophets in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, Elijah, Moses, Samuel, many of them escaped. So that's all I wanted to say. And they killed Nat Turner.
Can I just say something? Gosh. This man said they killed
Thanks
the
for that,
prophets.
Brother Mercy.
Now, hold on. I just want to repeat something. I'm not going to get too deep into it. We're going to go on. He said that in the Old Testament, they was not able to kill the prophets. And I started thinking about it. Daniel was in the lion's den. You know what I'm saying? In Jasher, Abraham was in a fire pit, just like Daniel was in the fire pit. You know what I'm saying? People dipping out at the right time. When they spoke bad about Moses and who his wife was, they got leprosy. Like, you couldn't speak about Moses. You couldn't say nothing negative. Like, his sister said it and got punished. And all of the apostles died, and some of them horrible deaths. Horrible. Some hung upside down, I heard. But I don't know how true that is or rumor. But anyway. I'm done. I ain't want to get on too much. I just wanted to repeat what he said. Hello? Man, I don't hear nothing. I thought I was tripping. I started looking I had to wait till I looked to make sure I was good.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wait, was you speaking?
We didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I said that,
okay.
This topic was good. We got deep. I said, what you saying, like, at the surface level, like, I already know how deep it goes, what you saying, and I know you know what I'm saying, you held back because of time's sake and all that stuff, but, yeah, that's deep what you saying. I don't know if everybody on board and catching where you going with it, you know what I'm saying, but I did, and I think that's very deep. Brother Mercy, I turned your mic off. I don't know if Mercy came out the queue or not. So if you came out the queue and you came back in, I don't know, but press 1. get yourself out the queue, and if you want to come back, press 1 again. But I did see Sister Hawkman just come back, so you're live.
Well, I just had a quick question. So, in the Tanakh, the Old Testament, the ancient days, the days of Moses, Noah, whoever you want to call it, they wasn't able to kill the prophets. But in the New Testament, they was killing prophets. What changed? What happened?
That's where it gets.
Dun dun dun.
You know what I'm saying?
Dun, dun,
So let me write that down as a new topic.
Okay.
We're gonna talk. I guess we'll talk about it one of these rest shows. What happened?
Dun dun dun. Oh, okay, I'm done. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What happened?
Brother Mercy, you edified me today. I promise I don't even think I ever really kind of thought of what you said, how you said it. I thought of some things. Trust me. But this right here was kind of deep.
Prophets start getting killed, or start being able to be killed. So that's kind of like the topic, right?
Yes, sir.
Or what happened?
What happened?
What happened, and then I put in parentheses, when did prophets start being able to be killed?
I'll tell you what happened, but I'm going to wait to the show. Bye, y'all.
Hold it. All right. Shalom. All right, so, yeah, man, I think this right here is this. Now, let me say that for my closing statements. But anyway, all right, so we went through that topic, the afterlife. Got a lot of good feedback, a lot of thoughts thrown out there. Our next topic that we're moving into is divination. So, I guess we'll start this out. I'll start it out, and then we'll go round robin like we've been going. But divination was one of these topics that have been in the book. I think here recently, a lot of people have been talking about divination for some reason. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it on Facebook and stuff like that. I can't remember what show it actually came out with, but I think the way it sparked up is something happened, and then we started talking about a conversation that myself and Shema was having. And when we had our conversation, I think it was a more personal thing, so I'm not going to really put it out because that's his business or whatever. But
no, go ahead, bro. You can put it out, bro. You can put it out. I don't have no shame in anything I do. Go ahead.
Okay, so he
I
came
believe
to me
I'm being moved by the Most High, bro.
Okay. So the brother came to me and wanted to hear my thoughts based on, someone that he was talking to said that they, quote unquote, like basically deal with magic, like they do magic or they believe in magic and all this stuff like that, which we would render as divination or whatever. So I came back and said, I'm like, man, it's crazy that you're talking about that because somebody put up a post and I was looking at it and all this stuff, and they was, they had a certain thought about divination. And then I was like, and I had always been wondering, I thought about this because I remember, and I'm going to try to find the scripture as we go through, but it was a scripture that said Yosef, not Yosef HaOrech-Din, but Yosef in the scriptures, Ben Yaakov, was like a diviner. And so it always in my mind was like, okay, what's the difference between him being a diviner or doing divination versus what the Most High said to stay away from. Okay? And then also, I was talking about how, they did some crazy stuff, and this came up in the show, this was a long time ago, but when in the Torah, they were saying that if you perceive your woman to be cheating, then, you bring her before the judge, you make her drink this special drink. I don't remember all the ingredients that it's supposed to be. And if they belly swell up, they cheating or whatever. So, to me, that's like
it's dust from the it's dust from the floor of the temple.
Okay, but
water.
Thanks for that. So it's like, to your average person, you think like, man, that's magic or that's divination right there. You know what I'm saying? So the topic really.
Hey, when you're done, I want to say something too. I just want to say something. Go ahead. But when you're done,
okay,
I got to say something. Go ahead.
The topic really is, concerning this divination. Like, what is the difference? Like, what is divination to you? You know what I'm saying? And how did this whole thing, what's the separation between good divination versus bad divination? You know what I'm saying? Like, the kind to stay away from. So I'm just putting that out there. Then I'll, as people go through, like I said, I'm going to try to look for this scripture. And as the brothers go through, so Shema, you'll go first. Yourself, you'll go next. Then if anybody, again, if you guys want to chime in, press 1. We'll let you in to the discussion. But that's the order that we'll go right now. And then after y'all two finish, I'll come back. Hopefully I'll have the scripture so I can, add to the conversation. All right, Shema, talk to us.
All right, man, let me tell y'all something. Now, y'all is familiar with, and yourself, of my spiritual walk a little bit. I actually, I deal with, incense and things like that, not from a standpoint of the bad side of it, or what we look at it from Samat. But I'm more spiritual than I ever been right now. I take on the positive customs, I guess you could say, that our matriarchs and patriarchs of our culture dealt with. To be honest with you, the prophets were diviners, period. But when you look up the term or the definition of diviner, right now I can't. I wish I could right now, but I can't. But the prophets were that. You're trying to go to a source to get an answer. You're delivering answers from a source, a divine source. You're seeking. I know those are some of the definitions depending on it. So basically, the prophets and things like that, they were considered that, if you want to be technical. They were that. They dealt with, Moses or Moshe would have been one too, dealing with the things that he did through the source that gave him that ability to do. But I would say, when you said what's the difference, I think bad or good, bad will be more so trying to conjure up some, like a demon, something evil. I don't think the set apart Nevi'im, prophets, were, well, I know they were, trying to conjure up evil. You know what I'm saying? So that's who, like you said, the friend I was talking with, she spoke on, and she was like, man, somebody she was talking to had said that, oh man, you're doing with the devil worship and all that, and she was like, you just you didn't even ask any questions to find out what's going on. I mean, they had, when they started doing with the priests, they did certain rituals dealing with, bowls and all that stuff. I'm kind of going pop right now, but dealing with that stuff when dealing with the Most High. That's technically the same thing. That is what, it's the same thing. I'm kind of all over the place right now, but hopefully I'll be where I need to be so I can present what I'm trying to present. I actually, on the page, I put a link so y'all can see some of the sources I went through when I was actually looking into this stuff and studying it. So with that, I yield.
I agree with him. I'm trying to say, I was going to the definition of divination.
The practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. Goes right along with what he was saying. I'm just bringing the technical word out. So this is if you put in divination, and this is what they tell you. It doesn't tell you anything spookish, but it says synonyms. Fortune telling, defining, prophecy.
Thank you.
It says prophecy, prediction, soothsaying, augury, I don't know what it is, whatever. Clairvoyance, second sight, those type of things are synonyms. So even prophecy is considered divination as far as the definition of divination. Now, the difference, I believe, is the source, just like he said, on what you're trying to draw to now. I gotta say, because I mean, like I say, divination could also be prophecy. So it's the source. I think when the Most High tells us He don't want us dealing with it, they had some rituals and practices, back then that would, and chants and stuff like that would invoke, other things, and I feel like in the other realms that we just don't know about. And He didn't want us to open up that door for ourselves. I mean, it's crazy because when I say this, y'all finna be like, I know this might sound crazy, whatever. You got to think about this. This lady, it was something we had read with Samuel, and we have to think about this two ways. That, let's say that was Samuel that was rose up. This lady had the power to rise Samuel up from the grave. So that's deep and all. If that's what you believe, it was Samuel. That's deep just to say that it was something that she was able to do. That was able to do that, and it wasn't drawn from the Most High. Because the Most High told people not to go mess with him. She was banned, so I had to go and be in a disguise just to do it. So I feel like this stuff is tied to other because we, everybody seems to might have their form of seeking knowledge to the Most High, and that's considered divination, as far as our definition. Now, going more into the word, I'll have to look it up. I will maybe bring that back out on the page and see if another definition kind of gives it more light in the Hebrew. I would love to see if that's something that I'll go for. I'm gonna let
I want to throw in there. Have anyone of you ever saw the TV show Supernatural? I think that's a perfect example of what we're trying to bring out, because they based the show Supernatural off the Bible. To be honest with you, off of the Book of Enoch. That's what they based it off of. If y'all didn't know that, but that's a perfect example. I mean, think of like Dean and Sam. I know y'all like but Dean and Sam were people who were fighting against people that was doing that. Now, I'm not saying that's what we are to do. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, it was people that they was dealing with that was conjuring up, actual demons to, help them in whatever thing they wanted or whatever. So I think that, and then some of the bases of how they operated, they took that from the Tanakh, Joe. Like literally, like when you look at some of the rituals is actually, like when you study how they did certain things. But I ain't gonna get into that. What I was just trying to say is, I think it's dealing with, like I said, the conjuring up or trying to deal with evil things or whatnot. I can be wrong, but this is from me, my studies. This is what I'm at now. But we all know that us on this panel and those that's listening, we don't have a problem with changing something if we find it to be wrong. So
well, let me say this.
This is why I'm.
This is something that I know from a personal standpoint. So I can't. This is something I probably would never deviate from. I'm gonna give a personal experience of something that went on with some divination in my household. My mother left with a Ouija board, and I know a lot of times people are like, it was nothing. That Ouija board said it had a name, It would not move for nobody else. Some whole other weird stuff would happen. So, like he said, like he just said, people doing stuff to open up doorways because, you never know what you're doing. We just have been around for a long time. I don't even know where it originated from. That's the thing. And then you see some of these kids on the internet, the Charlie thing, and other little things that they've been doing. And they be simple things, and it's something showing that it's something else there. I think that's the separation from Israel to everyone else. And he knew when he was talking to that group of people that they knew exactly what he was talking about. Okay? As far as, hey, don't mess with no divination. And they knew what they could see, too. They seen the people on the outside doing extra stuff, too, that they don't see because, Israel got a prophet. And that prophet comes out and then tells you what the Most High said, or multiple prophets. They'll all, say what the Most High say or whatever the case may be. These people feel like it was rituals to get you in connection with the certain things that you want to do. That's what separated Israel from the other belief systems that were surrounding them also. If you actually look into it, all of their belief systems would make it where people would separate is they would say that you can actually invoke their God to respond by doing certain things. And in the Israelite belief, you can't make the Most High do nothing. He ain't moving if it ain't on his will. He ain't gonna, you can't make him do anything. He does what he wants to do. If he decides to do it, he does it. But it's nothing that we can actually just do to just like, okay, you got me. You know what I'm saying? That's not Israelite thought, even though it was requirements for holiness.
Yourself, what you just said was powerful, man. Because think about it on Supernatural. When you think about it, I don't know if y'all saw it before, but they actually made those quote-unquote guys do stuff by conjuring them up and trapping them. So it's funny how you just said you can't make ours do anything. So go ahead.
Right, and that's why you have to be careful with some of the practices that we even do. We like sometimes that we might have some of that lingering on them traditions or those rituals that come from just whatever. They just say, if you do this, I'm going to use in churches. That certain music come on, everybody finna start dancing. See, and how it started in my church, it'd be like, and then it do, and then it's going down. Okay? And then now somebody caught the spirit, then somebody else catch the spirit, and it's going down in there now. You know what I'm saying? They play certain music, because I used to be behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but I was like the path of help, okay? They play certain music that they know plays the emotion of the people too. I guess that's another story. You know what I'm saying? Because he used to they used to talk like, look, you're going to play this. And he might look at him and like, give me that, or whatever. I was like, this stuff is crazy what you see, what you don't see. But that type of thought process is not an Israelite thought process. And that's and the Most High basically made it known. I got somebody designated to talk to y'all. You ain't gonna just find me through anybody going up, throwing up a card or two. You know what I'm saying? Tarot cards and stuff like that. Some of that stuff has old traditions and old backgrounds, and that's why we have to be careful. But I'm glad he said something that just you got the flow.
All right. I guess what I would like to kind of forgot what I was about to say, but so yeah, first thing I do just go off this scripture. So if y'all remember when we was in Bereshit, Genesis, the story of Joseph or Yosef, it was when his brothers had came up to Egypt or Mitzrayim for the food and stuff. And so when they went to him, you know, when he hid the little thing in the little pouch or whatever, and they got basically convicted or whatever, but it was a part in there, this is Genesis 44 and 15, but they fell, you know what I'm saying, before him on the ground. And then it says in 15, and Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that you have done? What ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? So, you know, that's from his mouth saying that, you know, he basically has this ability of divination. And that definition that the brother brought out is perfect, you know what I'm saying? It's because where did, you know, his insight come from? You know, everybody, and this is with anything, you know, everybody say that it came from God. Now, God is a general term, you know what I'm saying? But when you start throwing names out there, you specifying exactly who you feel like this is coming from. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, and this is just my thoughts on it, you know what I'm saying? Speaking from my perspective, you know, I've had conversation with these brothers about this, but wherever your insight, that power or whatever, you know, he talked about doing different things. I'm going to address a few scriptural instances about this, but when you see people doing things that what we call supernatural, as the brothers say the show is called, you know what I'm saying, when they say you got to tap into the supernatural, you know, that's what a lot of Christians will say. Tapping into the supernatural is divination. That's another way of saying we got to divine. You know what I'm saying? That's divination at its root understanding of it. So everybody that taps into the supernatural is doing divination. That's the bottom line truth about divination. So, you know, it's like God told me this. That's divination. You have a divine source that is causing you to do something of the abnormal. Like telling the future, that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? It has become something that most people, you know, it has become a norm, but back then there wasn't so many people that could just tell the future. Okay? Now, what I want to get into is one of the things, I'm going to give these examples, scripture examples, then I'm going to move on, and I'm going to let Sister Hokma come in because I think she's in the queue. She was in the queue, and then Brother Mercy's in the queue right now. So, the first example I want to go to something that yourself had brought out is the whole medium thing with Shemuel or Samuel. So, you know, it was a law that said you couldn't do this. So when she did that, like, she violated, like that, we know for a fact that that is not the divination that was set forth to be able to practice. So I think, you know, there's a fine line there in the Torah that tells you what divination you can do. And that's why I think the line is drawn. Like if and also just to caveat on that thought or that understanding is that what it all really boiled down to is the cultural aspect. Every culture, like you go to some places in the region of Africa, they have a rain dance to where they could make it rain. But then we go back to it. You had your boy Eliyahu make fire come from the sky. Is that not divination? You know what I'm saying? He used a divine source to make some supernatural thing happen. You know what I'm saying? Raising people from the dead is divination. You know what I'm saying? All these things that we see in Scripture, parting the sea, you controlling the elements, that's divination. All right, another example I want to go to. Oh, before I move on, and then when we talk about how the brother said, you know what I'm saying, talked about it and talked about the Ouija board and stuff like that. My thing is this. A lot of people don't believe that was Shemuel, so on and so forth. But my thing is, you got people that practice that type of divination today. So why, if you seeing this type of extra, well, I wouldn't say it's extraterrestrial, but supernatural stuff, you got people with the tarot cards, all this type of stuff going on today, why can't it be real and why couldn't it happen? You got people that say, oh, they tell you about your grandpa, talking about I feel an energy, and that's a big word right there, energy. Energy is a big word. That's the words that they use. They say, I feel an energy. This energy that I'm getting is telling me this. It's this and that. And they be like, oh, my grandpa, he did this. He had a hat and all this stuff. Man, look, I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but it's going on. That's all I could tell you. Even when you talk about going to church, you see people, like he said, they play the music, they run around, they do this. I done had some experiences in the Sunday church, which a lot of people say, you know, it shouldn't happen because, or it's the devil because it was in Sunday church. Whether that be the case or not, something was going on. It was supernatural. I myself experienced it, so I can't tell you it's fake, just like they talk about tongues. I didn't get to chime in on that show when y'all was talking about what are some things that you know for a fact is real, but, you know, whatever. I forgot exactly how it was worded by yourself. But one of my things is I've experienced speaking in tongues. I know that's real. Now, am I saying it's righteous or evil or whatever? I'm not finna tell you that. But what I ain't going to tell you is that it's fake. And that's a lot of people tell you it's fake because they never experienced it. So, I wanted to say that, and then I wanted to give an example, then I'm going to pass the flow. Also, when you look at when Moshe went to Mitzrayim, he was practicing divination. When he was making them frogs and the water turned, the blood, all this stuff, the flies coming, that was divination. And the cold thing about it, I'm going to leave it with this. I'm going to drop the mic. The cold thing about it is that they tried to imitate the same divination that he was doing. And it was one of them that said, like, man, I can't do that one. You know what I'm saying? He must got some type of guide or whatever. He channeled something that's greater than what I have. And then the last thing is that even when he was imitating, Moshe did the same thing. He imitated the divination that the guy did before he did it, which was throwing his staff down and then turning into a snake. But Moshe threw his down, or 3 snakes. He threw his down, turned his staff into a snake, and it ate the snakes. That's the same exact divination. One doing, you know what I'm saying? One did one. He turned around and did the same thing. So I think that, let that weigh on your mind and on your heart, and think about it. And I'm done. I'm going to pass flow. I'm going to open up the mic. Sister Hokmah first, then Mercy, you next. Hokmah, you live.
I just wanted to make one comment. When Brother Rick was talking, he said that you can't make God do anything. And I know I won't say
Oh, I already.
church, but
I'm divining right now to what you finna go with.
But I was just told like you can make the Father
say his
move.
name and claim it.
Speak his. I was told speak his word back to him, and he has to do what you say because he doesn't want to be made a liar. So if you speak his word back to him.
I think that's true. That's Yosef said that. Yosef said if it's part of his will, and that's what Moshe did. Moshe repeated what his will actually was, and it forced him not to kill the people. Remember, he was gonna kill everybody. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He kind of used his will. Or worded
and what
his
did
will,
and what did Moses say? I'm gonna give you what I was brought up with, but I'm gonna ask you, what did Moses say to make God not do what he said he was gonna do?
It will make him, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but it basically make him out to be a liar. Like he brought the people out just to kill them, when that wasn't what he originally was planning. He was bringing them out to save them, and he would have been going against his original will. And he still was killing them all, though. But he let them as a nation, live off. But he was going to just have all of them die and start back over from Moses. But Moses, reminded him, I guess you could say, of what his original will was.
I want to speak on that as well, just a caveat on that thought. Now, I think the key thing Shema said is that he was going to start back over with Moses. So technically, he wasn't going to be lying because he was going to build a nation with Moshe. But what he did, he intervened and he kind of was like trying to negotiate, and he kind of told him like, come on, you don't want the people to say this about you, like your reputation. So it wasn't that he was going to be lying. He was saying that the people going to say that you brought them out just to kill them, and that's going to give you a bad reputation. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of like pleaded with him, and then was like, and the Most High was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But if he would have killed everybody and just left Moshe and started over with him, that still would have been a nation. It just would have took a little bit longer.
Okay.
So I just want to throw that in.
That was not what I was speaking of. I was speaking of certain scriptures. If people would say, if you go back and say, well, a scripture, Father, you said I wouldn't lack, so you shouldn't lack. And Father, you said I will live and have a life abundantly.
That's the first
those.
I ain't gonna lie, that was how it used to be though. I mean, that's how we was told.
Yeah.
And it sound real good. But after I come into a lot more, I mean, now I'm like, I don't think you can't. Now that I know he wasn't talking to everybody sometimes, I'm like, Dad, did you say it to everybody?
Hey, hold up, Paul. We got 90 seconds if you're listening online. Call in. The number is 516-595-8238. Again, that's 516-595-8238 if you want to continue this dialogue. We're going into the overtime portion. Proceed.
Yeah, so I was just
he said
thinking,
that to
had
like
me,
David or something.
It had me trying to memorize scriptures. Like, well, shoot, I need to go around, speak these words back to the Father so I can make him move on my behalf. So this just made me think about it when Roderick was saying that you can't make God do nothing. I'm like, well, I was taught that you could. If you spoke his word back to him, he didn't want to be known as a liar, but that was, as I'm repeating these things to you, and I'm like, Roderick, as I learned, for one, most of that wasn't even God talking. And then the things that he did say, he wasn't talking to who the people say they think they were talking to them. So it just brought something to my memory when he said that. That was it. But I'm glad y'all talked about Divination. Say the word for me because I can't say it for it. Because I always thought it was, witchcraft. It was bad. And I'm with Jedediah when speaking in tongues and, as people call it, catching the Holy Ghost. I experienced it for myself, and I know it wasn't fake. And there was times where I promise you it was uncontrollable. Even when I would try to basically calm down or try to stop, it was not happening. So whatever it was that took over this spirit, it does happen. That's all I know.
And can I say something? And to be honest, she or me or Yada or whoever, you know what I'm saying, you know what energy or spirit or whatever anybody want to call it, you know what you're trying to connect to. All right? There's some people out there that want to connect to some other energies. There's other energies out there. And the fact that they want to, there's certain people, like, as far as, you are praying to the Most High, and then you get an energy, you know what I'm saying? You get this, something that you know is that, I mean, you connect that, of course, to what you felt. It's crazy because it's another stuff I was about to say, but all I can say is I saw some Muslims, and they was like, this looked the same way that it looked in Sunday church. And man had that energy, and they couldn't even be close to him. And everybody can't harvest the energy, you know what I'm saying? But the person is able to harness that energy and able to walk around people with that on them. That's why they feel that certain kind of way. But some stuff we have to make sure that we're not practicing some old other stuff and summoning something else and thinking it's something. That's another thing. But we know, okay, like if you just on some genuine, you're not on no, let me clap my hands 3 times, rub my elbows together. I know I'm being exaggerated, but you feel like this is what I have to do. This is what I do. Every time I do this, then this energy comes. You know, it's borderline. You know what I'm saying? That's borderline as far as some kind of ritual. But all in all I'm saying, people know it was real. Like I said on the show, the last rest show, this is where the entity that contacted me has me at right now. This is where I've come, okay? So everybody got to be in this thing for their own. Some people have felt it, some people have not, which is fine, and they in it just because it's what they would love to do, and there is nothing wrong with that. Everybody got to be in this. If the genuine people, they got to be in there for their own reasons. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of go back to the afterlife thing too, like kind of tie in together what I just said. But I'm gonna leave it at that because we got another subject.
All right, we got Brother Mercy in the queue. I'm gonna let you in, Brother Mercy. Then after Brother Mercy, we're gonna move on to our last and final topic, which is salvation. So let me go and let Brother Mercy in. Brother Mercy, you live.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Now.
All right, yeah, I was going to say, I guess it becomes tricky because you never know about stuff like this. I would say, I looked at the word divination in the dictionary, and it just simply means to seek knowledge by supernatural means. It doesn't say you seeking the Most High. That's the first problem I had with the word. Next thing is the supernatural. It just means to something that's not scientific, that's beyond a scientist's understanding or beyond the realm of science. That doesn't say you're seeking the Most High. Neither one of these words mean you're seeking the Most High. Actually, in the case of King Saul, he went to a witch. And so he going to a witch. No matter why you're going to a witch is, I think, the secondary issue. The fact that you're going to a witch for knowledge is the primary issue. And I think that's the issue. He's going to a witch. And if you're going to a witch that does divination, the problem is you're going to a witch. And whatever knowledge that witch has, or whatever future knowledge that witch has, is going to be, and anything, and you know, that's witchcraft. And anytime you talk about witchcraft, you're talking about false prophets, now you're getting into all that realm. You know, I just feel now we're getting into trouble when you start doing stuff like that. You're going to a witch. So I think that's the underlying issue. Now, as far as do I think Moses was doing divination? No, I don't think Moses was doing divination because he was going to the Most High. I think once you go to the Most High, then you're seeking the Most High. Now, can there be divination in that? Of course. But when you say divination, you can't just leave it at divination. We got to say he went to the Most High and got knowledge from him. We can't just say he practiced divination because that's not telling us where he got his knowledge from. So I think prophets do divination, but we got to be sure we're saying who they're getting information from. And divination doesn't mean you use divination in any sense. It don't have to be from the Most High, So I just wanted to say, just make sure we're getting our knowledge from the Most High and not from witches and things of that nature. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, Brother Mercy, this is Shema. I want to say that's exactly what we said. I want to say that that's exactly what we said. Big Gadol, big brother, big bro. Divination, the sense of the word is basically seeking, like you just said, basically. And then we said, but the Israelites, those that was of the Tanakh, they got their source. The source was the Most High. We made sure we said that as well. I just want to make sure that's reiterated. So the term of divination, they were doing it. There's no ifs or buts about it. By the definition, they were doing it. They were diviners. But it was through the source of the Most High. It was not deemed evil to the Most High because it was through him, But the term divination, just based off the definition, just like perfect example, I'm going to give you a perfect example real quick. I hope the brother listened back. I put a post up, and he said he's going to listen back to the show. I told him to check out the show. I put a post up, and it was through conversation with me and Yosef. The fringes, it's a whole different topic, but I might give you the example. The fringes, it says to put blue, right, on your fringe. But the word blue is kahol, right? And light blue or sky blue is tekelet. Tekelet is the actual word that's used for blue in the KJV or in the English, whatever, which is not the same as regular blue. So what he said is tekelet actually could be used as let me go to it real quick if y'all allow me to. Could be used as hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I had to go on my Facebook because it's actually my last post. Here it
why
is.
You looking at that?
No, just playing. I found it. Though. I found it. He said it because I don't want to lose my thought. He said it could be used as gold, and the fringes are supposed to show us the gold. So it's a deeper meaning to it. So what I'm trying to say is the meaning. And then I was trying to tell him I was basically talking about the color. So the definition of tekelet is light blue or sky blue, but the deeper meaning behind it is gold. So like the divination is seeking, prophets do that, blah, blah, blah. But the deeper meaning behind it for the Israelites, they're not doing it the same way that everybody else is doing. They're doing it from their source, the Most High. So I hope I didn't, be all over the place when I was trying to explain it, but I was trying to give you what I mean as far as defining. The definition, you can't take away from that. They was diviners. They was doing divination. But I know you trying to make sure we explain to the listeners exactly what, because we don't want to throw nobody off. So that's why we are saying the source is through the Most High. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, that's, I felt like, we explained it, but I guess for Brother Mercy it wasn't explained. So, I mean, that's cool, what I'm saying, that he came back and was like just wanting to make sure, because it's never anything wrong with, double, triple checking, you know what I'm saying? But definitely you are right, you know what I'm saying? But like Shema said, in the sense of the term, that's what they was doing. They was divining, they was practicing divination. Because a lot of times, and this is where my whole reality of religion thing, like certain words we try to stay away from, or we make it straight. We put we condemn words based off of a certain connotative understanding of the word, just like we've had this conversation many of times about, what was one of the words I had? Worshiping. That was one of the words I beat up on for a long time, worshiping. But we've seen that worship is not just, what people have made of, saying don't worship a man. You know what I'm saying? But we've seen, like, they tried to stay away from that English word when they translated it, but in certain instances they translate when it was towards God, but it's still the same act. You know what I'm saying? So just like in this case, divination is an act of seeking answers or power or supernatural. Like, the Most High is supernatural. You know what I'm saying? It said you cannot understand his ways. His ways are not our ways. So when you gave the definition of supernatural, that fits the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows his ways. Nobody understands his ways. Science can't really capture what is explained when it comes to the Most High. So therefore, even with that, a lot of people shun science because they like, oh no, science is wicked. You know what I'm saying? But Torah, modernly, if you translate it, Torah translates into science. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot that goes into it. But what I would like us as his taught ones to walk in a sense of not fearing words. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with saying Moses practiced divination because that's what Moses did. It was just through the Most High was his source. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it goes back to a cultural thing.
Guess what? This is all we could say. Basically, we called it something different. We called it prophecy. That's what we called it. And what everybody else did, all the rituals that they did from Israel.
Like, people are prophets,
right,
but they might be prophets of something else. Just like they say, oh, these are the prophets of Baal. You know what I'm saying? So, like, words don't bother me. That's basically what I'm saying. Like, words, I can say whatever I want to, like, far as long as it's the understanding that comes that is most important. I understand that they did divination, but I also understand who their source was. You know what I'm saying? And when the Most High said, don't do this certain type of divination, that's what he meant. So he was like, don't worship other gods. You know what I'm saying? Don't go to a medium or a witch like you called it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they used to do witch hunts. I know you're a history buff, Mercy, so back then when people was Christians and they was practicing divination, like, they called them witches, and they did witch hunts and killed them and all this stuff. So, I mean, like you said, it gets deep, it's tricky, you know what I'm saying, but that's what we're here to talk about. So when I say these things, I feel like we all are able to comprehend and take from it what needs to be taken from it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a yield, I'm a rest, and we got this last topic. So, Brother Mercy, if you wanted to say anything in response to anything any of us have said, you know what I'm saying, we're going to give you that opportunity. And then if anybody else want to say anything, but then after that we got to move on. I want to get through this last topic. So, that's that. Brother Mercy, you got the flow?
I'm good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to make a distinction, that's all, because with King Saul, so we did mention Samuel's spirit, we did mention that, but I just wanted to make that clear that what King Saul did, he went to a witch, and I just wanted to bring that out because that's the key. He went to the wrong source, and then we got Halloween, we got that today, so, I mean, people are celebrating Halloween, they may call that divination or whatever, they call it witchcraft, whatever. I'm just saying that, we got a lot of, and then Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, go Louisiana, they got witches on the street. They got people to read your palms and all that. So all I'm saying is, as long as we keep the Most High, and I think that's the key because, I know we know this, but when you step outside and say just divination, people have different practices when it comes to that. So I just wanted to say that because what King Saul did, definitely, I feel like that was wrong. And
I got to comment one more time after you're done. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say one more comment.
We got Halloween today, and I just feel like then you go to Louisiana, they do a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that. They put curses on you and stuff like that. The slaves used to practice it. The slave owners used to practice it. So hopefully, as long as the Most High is the source, that's always going to be the right thing to do. So that's all I have to say.
So with that, everything is cleared, I believe. I do want to say something about the palm reading. I don't get involved in that because I don't know nothing about it. But I would have to say that is almost similar to what Yosef did. But he did it through the source. When they was asking and doing, it's a prophecy type thing in my opinion. Or when he was giving him the visions of the dreams and stuff, I think what we're basically trying to say is, and I know you already established it, Mercy, and you did, Yah, and yourself, but I want to close it by saying this. Divination is here. It's always been here by both, quote-unquote, righteous and unrighteous. I think it just boils down to the source. That's all that I can say because, like I said, Yosef could be considered. Matter of fact, we don't even know how he did the thing. What if he did do a palm reading type thing? I don't know. We don't know what method he did it. So I think we got to be careful also, like the person I was telling y'all about, we got to be careful with calling that stuff evil if we know nothing about it. We're just going off of what, at first, before we came into this understanding that we have it now, I thought the same way. Like, oh, man, divination. Oh, that's bad, completely. With no understanding of the culture, understanding of the actual scripture itself. So, this was confided in me, and I had to sit down and really think on what was said, and I had to talk with Yah to help me think on it as well. It's like, man, one thing that was said by this person was like, it really hurt because I'm not evil. You don't even know what the heck I do. You just off the bat, boof, just jumped. And I'm guaranteed that's the same thing with some of these people back then. They looked at them like they was crazy. They had no understanding. But that's it.
All right. We got Philip in the queue. Philip, you live before we move on. We actually move into your topic after this. So, you live, brother.
I had a quick thought. I know my brothers studied this. I haven't really studied it, but I listened to them, and I remember some of the things they were saying. But would it be accurate? I know, especially with the story of Moses and the Pharisees, I know a lot of people, when you think of God and spirit and stuff, it's like science prove a lot of stuff. You got people who believe in Scientology. I think that's a religion now. And, it's like close to, understanding God or whatnot, the things that God places on earth or the Most High. So would it be accurate with what y'all saying? Is it more like science? And my brothers, they studied numbers. And a lot of the stuff in the Bible as we read it, the numbers mean something, or, you have people who study numerology and zodiac signs and stuff like that. With some of the stuff that's accurate, I don't per se take it as like literal, but, it's something that you think about, stuff that you wonder about. And is that something that God placed on earth, like with numbers and with the sky or whatever the case may be, or is this something else? I guess my question is, is like what we experience. Like for me, like I was listening to some people talk, and some of the stuff I experienced, like when you say energy. When I played football, some of the same energy I felt to me it felt the same as the same type of energy you feel like when you're in church and you're worshiping and stuff. So, you have these different experiences. They may feel the same. They may be somewhat accurate, or in some sense, you can't really tell a difference between the two. So how do you know when it's the most high? How do you know when it's just something that's just there, or something that's just you
Great
just experience? So that's my question.
Great question. Did y'all want to take it first, or let me talk? Which one? I don't want to keep taking first, so I will though.
I want to speak on that because I know we talked about this before. Y'all know my stance. Like, I'm very unorthodox, and I'm very unapologetic. So that is a great question. I asked that question
great
myself.
Question.
And the thing is really to me, and I know y'all probably tired of hearing me because of saying this because I sound like a broken record. But to me, it just always go back to culture, man. It's the way that they did things. It's the way that they established their belief. This book is the Hebrew belief. That's all really that it is. It's what they believe. We all have experiences. Just like people that believe, like wholeheartedly believe Jesus is God, like, and have these experiences, they believe that is confirmed just because they had his energy and all that. It's the same thing. What was done then is done now. You know what I'm saying? When people had these experiences, like how the brother said, them people that was doing the same thing that he saw in Sunday church, they gonna chunk that up to Allah. The energy that they call Allah. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna keep it pushing. Like, yep, that was Allah. People put up videos. They were like, people say it's something wrong with the name Jesus or this, that, and third, but I done called on Jesus so many times and this done happened. I seen a whole tornado or whatever it was, a typhoon or tsunami or something stop when they was calling on Jesus. And it's a live video showing it. You know what I'm saying? I believe yourself say, people put their emotion is caught up in certain things because what they experienced. So truth goes out the window. It's like, to a lot of people, it's experiences. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me nothing because this what happened and I was calling on this certain name. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? But you don't see this big lie right here? You're going to ignore that? You know what I'm saying? So it's very touchy, but for me, at the end of the day, it goes down to what has been presented to you, what you believe it is, and what you stick to. You stick it to your guns. Me, myself, you know what I'm saying, I've been through these different stages of calling something what it is. You know what I'm saying? Some people just say, I believe it's a higher power out there. I don't know what it is, but I do believe in a higher power. They may not call it Yah. They may not be into Christianity. They may not be into whatever, but they do believe there is a source out there, a higher power that they believe in. I can't really knock nobody for that. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to continue to be me. Like, at this point in my life, my point where I feel like I'm at a mature state right now, like, a lot of things that I used to shun and I used to knock and all this stuff like that, I'm at a point to where I'm very careful and I'm very conservative when it comes to my beliefs. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are, they're beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think Malcolm X said it best. You know what I'm saying? There's no greater belief than facts.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at. That's my philosophy, and that came from a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's a good philosophy. There's no greater belief than facts. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have beliefs, but to me, if you bring a fact to me, that's going to trump my belief. And that's where I'm at. I yield the flow. I'm done.
Well, I want to say this, man, in response to Philip's question. Question/comment, because, I mean, honestly, what he stated was facts, too. Like that feeling. He was comparing sports to kind of what's going on now. I'm a spiritual level. You got to remember, everything has something to do with spiritual and nature, too. Y'all been hearing me lately for a while now talk about nature, right? One of my studies back in the day when we first started, I think, or maybe before, and I might be off when I say this because it's kind of blurry right now, but if I'm not mistaken, the space or galaxy, or whatever y'all want to call it, the same elements in space is the same elements within our body. And the people that have the most of it is a so-called quote-unquote black, too. This is a scientific study. And I got it, and maybe I'll get the actual terminology and just put it on the page if I remember. But what I'm basically trying to say is, because he was saying it was the same feeling, I think that the Most High, the Creator, the higher power, the energy source of everything, I'm just throwing out names of how people deal with or classify this higher being. I think everything is like in unison in a sense. Everything is connected. Everything has a common ground. You know, somebody who speaks on this a lot, kind of like with yourself with the numbers. But one of the coldest people I've ever came across, man, is this guy named Zion Lex. And I'm sure there's more people out there that's more knowledgeable than him. But as far as when he's speaking on numbers and the Most High and the Torah, especially the Torah or Tanakh, man, his vision in this doctrine, I say not because I don't believe everything what the man say, of course. But as far as with this, it kind of goes with your question. It's like he knows how to bring, and it's factual, it's scientific, is the way that he bring like the nature and the Hebrew language and the Most High together. Like he put out books on this. He got a book coming out soon. I'll let y'all know when it comes out. It touches on some of the stuff you're saying from what I can see. But my answer is I think that all of this energy source is connected to everything. You know, one of the things I used to use so much, and this is definitely out of context when I say this, in the New Testament when it says that the Most High will rain on the basically me paraphrasing like the what do you say? How does it go, y'all? I know y'all know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the just and non-just. Now I know this out of context when I say it, but when I think of that, I think of it like I said, I think that everything is connected. Like this energy, okay, I'm gonna end it with this. I put a post up a while back, and I said that everybody has Elohim in them. Why do they have Elohim in them? Because they have the breath of life. They have the Ruach. Without that Ruach, they cannot live. So everybody has Elohim in them. So that's to say, what I'm trying to say is that energy source, that feeling that you say you feel when you're happy or playing sports and all that, is kind of similar to this feeling when you're in church and all that. I just think that it's all the same. I think it's all connected. So I think I just
David could have been asking.
Like
he could have been asking. Don't take your breath away from me. Don't kill me. You know he's going through some things. That's a whole other topic. They said what I would want to say. For the most part, I'm not gonna beat on this thing. Write this down. The culture. Just write down the culture, because that's gonna be a show. Because I got a lot to say on what Yediyah said as far as the culture and what we believe and this, that, and the other. That's a great show topic for sure. And I'll leave it at that, and we can move on.
All right, so we're going to get into the salvation thing. We got 30 minutes left of the overtime portion, so we're going to reserve that. We're going to reserve, 25 of that for this last topic. Then the last 5, we'll go into closing statements and then pray out. So, we have salvation, and the way it was kind of brought forth is salvation according to ancient Israel. We know that there is different ideals regarding salvation, and it also goes back to the very first topic, the afterlife. The one of the biggest views of salvation is in regard to the afterlife. So it's like being saved after you die. So I think, from my perspective, I think that's the most popular ideal religiously when it in a Christian faith of what salvation is. Being saved after you die, being saved from a second death or this torture in hell. So that is what I believe is the most thought of understanding of the term salvation. But as we've been going through, I haven't seen this type of ideal or this type of understanding from what we read so far. So it kind of brings up the question. So that's me opening up for conversation. I guess Yosef HaOrech-Din can go first, and then Shema. And then I'm not even going to go until people chime in, and I might, chime in after that. But if nobody chimes in, then I'll just go after Shema. All right, the floor is yours.
All right, I'm going to try to be real brief, as brief as I possibly can. As far as what I see from reading, salvation has been a form of oppression taken off of Israel in the natural realm, and that's what they equated the Most High saving them. Has been salvation from here on out. And has it been a messenger or some sign and wonder to show that this was that he was going to help? Yes, it has been. But the sign and wonder, it always comes, and then what precedes it is the victory, which is being saved from oppression. So as a culture, if we feel like we're Israel and we're in this oppression, this is our salvation is being taken away from this and living the way we're supposed to live. And everybody's salvation, and this feels like they're Israel, can't super use the Christian term too much because we're talking about the Israelite book. Okay, even if you want to say Christian, Christians are still would be fashioned after an Israelite. Okay, point blank period. It still goes back to Israelite. With that being said, the salvation part has always been linked to being taken out of some sort of captivity. And if you turn your head and look at not having to worry about being taken out of the oppression and the captivity that you're in, and you're thinking about an afterlife, you know what I'm saying? You won't even try to do what the book says you have to do in the old to get back to it. See, the new covenant really isn't to a lot of people. It isn't that he write the laws on their hearts like the scripture actually says. To them, it's now we don't have to do any work. We don't have to do any laws. He's just going to come. We couldn't do him anyway. Hey, grab you some bacon over there. Period. Okay? So that's to a lot of people, not everybody. And this isn't a jab at anything New Testament, or something like that. This is more so just how a lot of the people have viewed this thing, and the salvation has been wrong. So, and the common salvation is after you die that you're going to have some sort of heaven, just like we was talking about earlier. That was the common thought. Now, as far as Israel, it is some people that do want the salvation But some is split and split. We have some that wants the salvation, but they feel as if this goes into that flea doctrine. That was one of those, but I'm not going to go down that road. And it's going to be going back to the promised land. And then some feels like that in an instance, everybody's going to be, everything's a rapture type of deal. Even though they probably wouldn't say that it's a rapture, they will still, it's still attributed to some sort of rapture, you know what I'm saying, the dead being caught up in the sky. And that's why I say I'm going to use the term as it is. And then it's going to set order and all this extra stuff, and then we're going to just go walk back to Israel. And I guess this dude is going to be smacking people with canes. I don't know. All I know is that's one of the beliefs. But in Israelite belief, it was more so, it might have been someone to come forth and lead them. That's not uncommon at all. Okay? That is one of the common traits, someone stepping forth and leading a group of people. That's so I don't have anything negative to say about that. But the salvational part of it is when this person come through, we're good. That's how, from Isaiah on down, has been presenting itself. They done went to a lot of wars, and also that's another thing. They had to fight their way out of some things at times, and it kind of throws you off of not having to fight either. Like, no, don't fight. You ain't got to this time. I know you read it over here, but no, it's different. This is the way this salvation is going to come in it. And like you say, you worry about the heaven and stuff, and you're not trying to get your stuff right now. Brother Much for go to get school, you need to get to school right now. Okay? School and heaven just doesn't sound like something that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to yield the flow. I hope I didn't take too long.
It's on you, Shabbat.
Apologize, man. I had to put my phone down, but I had my earpiece on. I forgot I was muted. Salvation. I really don't have nothing else to say. He done nailed it all. To be honest with you, I mean, we all know what we believe at this point, you know. And I'm saying this to everybody that's listening. We all know, especially what the panelists believe at this point as far as what salvation is. I think that y'all brought up a good one with that movie, Birth of a Nation, which had me mad. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I remember I took off work that day because I was kind of sick. And I was watching that, boy. I was ranting all night. You know, because I work overnight, so I was ranting watching that, man. But I think that when he brought up about how he realized, you know, that the Tanakh side of things manifested in his thoughts, you know, of how we should be, you know. It really, the salvation portion, like he said, is like all of y'all said today. We're looking towards the future instead of looking to now. Last thing I'm going to say, I think that doctrine specifically, and this is not a shot to any other race that's listening to our show, because I hope that you all do tune in. But, you know, I'm on Malcolm X when, you know, I'm saying what Malcolm X said. We got to appreciate your help, man, but we got to make sure we help each other first, you know. I know that sounds bogus, and I hope it don't at the same time, because when you think about it, we're one of the only people that don't really help ourselves. So that salvation has really hurt us, because now, that doctrine, I was talking to a friend of mine. He said that he was speaking that we're the most laziest people. We're the most laziest people when it comes to unforced. When we're forced to do something, we work harder than anybody. We see that. Look at this nation. We built it, to be honest with you, the United States. But when unforced, as a nation, I ain't talking about individual, because I can know people like Mercy, Chachma, you know, yourself. We know you did, y'all. You know, the Army and all that stuff, they're hard workers. But as a nation, we're lazy. Why are we lazy? Because what Mercy said earlier, I think it was Mercy, when he said that, you know, you're going to get your stuff later. Don't worry about that. You know, you might not have it now, but you're going to get it later. So why are we going to – there's nothing to work for. There's nothing to work towards. If you had the idea that, hey, I need to get it now, then the whole salvation doctrine would wouldn't be as big as it is now, to be honest with you. So salvation to me is what we've been talking about. It has something to do with being saved at that moment. You know, being saved from being in captivity or being ruled or being trampled upon, this and that. You know, that's what it is to me at this particular moment. That's all I got.
All right, Toda, Achim, Brother Mercy, you're live.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this salvation thing, a lot of Christians believe salvation came through the cross. And my dumb question is, how can a nation be saved when you crucify your king? If you kill your king, I believe this. I believe he's the Messiah. So if I believe this and they crucified their king, how can you establish a nation when you kill your king? That's why he told the rich man to go sell everything and give it to the poor, because guess what? He ain't going to have nothing. And what happened to Israel? Israel didn't have nothing after they crucified Yahshua and all his followers. Was there any future for Israel? No, they all left, and they were scattered. So I say this to say, pick up your cross and follow me, is what Yahshua say. Say, follow me to the promised land, as Moses would say. You know, the thing is like this. I know I'm unpopular. I know nobody likes Brother Mercy. But I'm trying to get to the promised land, the land flowing with milk and honey. And the reason why Yahshua said what he said, because he knew his people had turned against him. Because just like today, we're working against each other. Just like Nat Turner. Did salvation come through Nat Turner? No, it didn't. But the Civil War happened after Nat Turner. The Civil War happened after Nat Turner. So, what was that? The white man beat us up? Nope. What he said was, I want some freedom, and I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna die for it. So I say all that to say, the Civil Wars happened, guys. The Revolutionary Wars happened, guys. Now it's time for us to take claim to what rightfully belongs to us. And I'm not waiting till I get to heaven to try to own it, because you want to know why? Once I go to heaven, somebody else going to be owning what I left here. And I'm telling you, it's the truth. Anybody that died, anybody that went to, well, we all believe people go to heaven, right? Those people don't own the property they had when they left here. Somebody else owns it. They don't even know the person living on their house. So I say this. We need to establish something, get the deed, get the ownership, and we need to stop trying to go to heaven and try to establish something here on earth so that we can establish a nation and stop turning against each other. So I just say that. I mean, so yeah, Yahshua was a great, I believe he's the Messiah. But you know something, man? I'm not going out the way he went out. So that's all. I'm out.
Hey, I think that's the perfect way to end the show right there. I don't even want to say nothing else. Yeah, I don't even want to comment. I just want to leave it at an awkward silence, you know what I'm saying, with that note. But you brothers can speak if y'all want to, but I ain't got nothing to say. I think that's a perfect way to end the show.
I want to comment, but I'm gonna follow suit. I'm gonna follow suit though. I'm gonna take heed on what might be transpiring in your mind, brother. So I want to comment, but I'm not. I think if we're gonna stir the pot or let it end on that note, that's what it is. Shalom leIsrael, Hamishpacha. I ain't got nothing to say. I was gonna say, saying she might comment because we do got a couple minutes, but I just gonna say it's been a pleasure. The show was great. As far as I do my final statement, and then therefore I'm good or whatever. I felt like it was a great show. Even brought up some subtopics to talk about that I'm probably really passionate about at this point. That's the culture. And that's what this whole thing is about to me, and for me, how they lived, and this is what I draw to, so it is what it is. Anyway, I just hope everybody else had a good show just as well as I did, and we'll be back to our regular program. For those that's there, they'll be there. For those that's first time listening, if you ever first time listener, always go back. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been going through Isaiah and it's getting juicy. And we're about to get real juicy. So, that's all I got.
All right, I just want to say, I agree. Very good show. I'm probably going to listen to this again, and then with that last statement, you know what I'm saying, Shema, I would say just write it down because I'm gonna write it down as a new topic for us to talk about. I'm not going out like Yeshua. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm going to name it because that's what he said, So just write down your thoughts, and then when we address it in the future, then bring it out. That's what I would say. Thank everybody for tuning
real quick,
in.
before you close it out, everybody listening in, that's listening back, please, if you have it, go download your free copy of Transparent that I released, ShemaTalamido.bandcamp.com. And if you want to, you can follow me on my Facebook page, just facebook.com/Shema Talamido. That's it. I have to promote it, y'all.
All right, that's cool, man. Make sure y'all support that brother, and then in the future we will be actually interviewing him and playing his whole album on Manifesting the Music because I'm bringing it back. It's going to be official. When they come back, and he will be the first artist to appear on the actual official show. We had some artists before, but that was kind of like a pilot. And when I bring it back this time, I'm going to make it official. So, but without further ado, man, let me pray us out. And so everybody can go ahead and do what they do on today. But if everybody would clear their minds real quick. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We bless your holy name. As no words that can explain, the appreciation that we have for you. We thank you for the Ruach, the breath of life, being able to just be here and enjoy life. And we pray that you continue to open our minds, open our hearts to the word and to the reality of what you would have us to understand about life, and that we will carry out your will, and that we will grow as individuals and also collectively to represent who you are within us. So we want to thank you one more time, and just bless your name. Amen.